Welcome back to the Always Aggressive podcast. Corey Fontana, Lipson head coach Tony Ersland. A ton to talk about, fellas. We are going to go ahead. We're going to get to it. I don't know that we'll get through all of it, but we're gonna do our dangest to try and get it. First of all, shout out to Coach Soof for letting me squat in his office, whether he knows it or not.
I'll just say you look right at home with the Packer stuff in there, Corey.
That's right. Always Packer proud, whether they deserve it or not. Right now, it doesn't seem like they do. Guys, you open the season. We're going to talk about that. A very unique situation out at Clarion. A great performance. Also, happy National Signing Day.
It's like Christmas.
It's like Christmas in November.
No doubt. Official. We've waited a long time for some of these guys, right, to make it official. So, yeah, big day. Big day for us.
Big day. I'm told as we record this at 11 o'clock, 11:21 Wednesday morning, that everything is in, paperwork is in. So we're very happy about that. I know,
Absolutely.
like you said, it's a years-long process, and this is the payoff. We'll get in depth on that.
Shout out to Jacqueline McGill for her work behind the scenes to get those forms out and back in and registered and so on and so forth. It's a big day in the compliance world.
For sure.
It takes a village.
And if that weren't enough, we've also got the home opener coming up in a few days. Riders coming to town. We'll preview that match. Let's start off with the Clarion Open. You went out to PA and came back with what did we say? 6 champions in 4 weight classes, Coach.
Well, depending on how you want to look at it, right? Like that's the different thing, right? So just to break it down quick for people, right? Matt Ramos won kind of outright. You'll understand what that means in a minute here. So Matt took care of his bracket, looked good. Was dominant most of the day, I would say, in his matches. So he's off to a great start. Co-champions at 33 with Dustin Norris and Jacob Macatangay, who had a really good win right out of the gate. It would be the national qualifier.
Nationally ranked kid, national qualifier from
national qualifier in the 1 seed in the bracket, and our young guys showed up and didn't stop there, right? Like, Macatangay, again, true freshman for us, beat the 1 seed.
The bracket after that.
Yep, and then just really was dominant on his way through. And Dustin Norris did what we expected. And because these guys are teammates and they don't get any win-loss record out of it, they don't count your teammates in terms of your RPI and countable matches for people out there. So we decided not to wrestle that match. We'd already done that in
we did a week before.
Right, we've done that in wrestle-offs. Parker Filius, outright champ at 41. Again, dominant most of the day. I think he had major decisions or better in all of his matches.
He did, and his finals win over the young man from Navy. That kid was a top 25 ranked kid.
Yeah, Coder Hunt. So, so a good, solid win and performance from him there. Kendall, Coleman, and Jake Camiscioli. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You are losing it. I'm telling people.
Dude.
We got to watch him.
He got minutes of sleep.
I'm sorry. Yeah, let me just apologize now to Nate. Dude, it's between signing date and Ryder coming up and watching
recruiting travel.
I apologize. Yeah, that's where I'm at. By the way, I called my kids each by the opposite name this morning too, with Mason and Jackson. Absolutely. So I should have known not to show up at the office today the way my morning started off. Yeah. No, I apologize.
Twin 1 and twin 2.
So, but clearly, Kenny and Nate had great tournaments. And again, because we had already seen that wrestle off and matches don't count on season record forms, we decided not to wrestle that. So they were kind of co-champions as well. And then, if we're kind of going in order, right, Copus was also in the finals at heavyweight, was runner up, but made the finals. So What did we call that? That was
12 place winners in all.
12 place winners in all, and a bunch of finalists and champs.
Like 7 finalists. That's
7 finalists. So
then you keep going down the list. Obviously, like you said, Copus was second at heavyweight. Both Ben Venadia and Cooper Norrie took third
Yep.
65 and 84 respectively. And then we had some guys. So the way they did the tournament, for those that weren't following closely, the semifinal losers wrestled for third and fourth. And if you lost at any point during the tournament earlier than that, the highest you could place was fifth. And so Tristan Ruhlman wrestled back for fifth. Brody Bowman wrestled back for fifth. And Hayden Filipovich made the consolation finals and lost and took sixth at 197 pounds. Mm-hmm. So that's am I missing anybody? I think that's everybody.
I think, well, not trusting myself with the start I got off to. I think you're right, though. I'll give you a vote of confidence on that. I'm just not sure how much that really means.
Yeah. Coach, overall, we decided to go to Clarion because we wanted to see some different teams.
Yep.
We usually spend this opening weekend up at Michigan State. Mm-hmm. A lot of teams that are on our schedule we're already up there. And so we opted for something different. It was a heck of a bus ride, but we made it both there and back.
Yep.
And not without a deer casualty on the way home.
Oh no.
He got dropped pretty hard from what I hear.
It sounded like I told Tony this the other day, Corey. It sounded like, like in the movies when they take the metal trash can and they throw something into the bottom of it, and that loud clanging hollow sound.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't know what it was. We thought maybe we drove into a pothole or like something.
Yeah.
Turned out it was a deer. So yeah. But I guess my question is, Tony, not getting back to the point, did you feel like you got out of the tournament what you intended to by going to the Clarion Open?
Yeah, no, I absolutely did. We got to see some different competition, which was really great, and get our guys a lot of matches. We've talked often about qualifying standards for the NCAA, and so being a young group, I wanted to make sure that we got off to a weekend where we got to see a lot of competition and get a lot of different matches. Last year, we started off with dual meets, little older team, little different situations. So I was really happy with what we got out of the weekend.
Corey, I know you've had a chance to kind of glance through the results. Was there anything that kind of piqued your eye as a bystander that of somebody who showed out?
Honestly, both guys at 33. It's the first time the world's really gotten to see Dustin Norris, because he redshirted last year and wrestled unattached, two-time Ohio State champion. I know you guys have expectations for him. It's good to see him go out there and perform as well as he can, making the finals, going co-champion. Macatangay, same deal. True freshman, didn't know what to expect from him, but he runs to the finals too. Really cool to see both of those dudes step in and perform. Great to see Parker do what we all expect him to do. That's fantastic. So just those three guys early on in your lineup, I think really caught my attention as I was scrolling through results Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, and Ramos is the other one, Ramos and Kendall were the other two, Tony and I talked about, went out, were dominant, bonus points.
Yeah.
We can't say any names here, but really interesting plot line from the weekend with some of these young high school kids that jumped into these college opens and did really well.
And more of that.
There was a young man at Ramos's weight class, and we were, it was one of those things. It's like, it's kind of a lose-lose situation, right? Like, you wrestle a high school kid, you're supposed to beat him. But then, if you lose to him, it's a huge story, and we saw that all over the country with some of these other tournaments. But Ramos went out there and took care of business, not just against him, but against, everybody he faced.
Everyone. Yeah.
And, tech fall. It was funny. The guys were asking me about team scoring, and I was like, guys, it's an open tournament. There's no team scoring. They're like, but if there were team scoring, we'd be dominating. I'm like, yeah, you would.
It's true.
So,
well, and then they did put out a team score. Did you see that?
They did.
I did see that they were showing up there. So, and I don't know what the criteria or qualifications or how
I
that.
didn't know either. No, I'm with
We had a
you.
lot of guys there, so you'd have to anticipate just because we had so many guys there, we'd score a lot of points.
Yeah. I will say this though, the helmets those guys brought home were pretty cool, right?
Super cool.
Yep. So that was fun. Normally you get the bracket or a t-shirt or something too with you for your efforts for the day. So that was different and kind of fun. So having 4 of those helmets along the way, was a good time.
Yeah, some of those guys had a lot of fun with those after they won, putting them on and posing. And there were some photos that wound up out on Twitter and Instagram that were pretty entertaining.
Great photo ops for sure.
But yeah, shout out to Keith Ferraro for running a good tournament out at Clarion. Providing, like you said, an awesome trophy for these kids. So I was happy with that. I didn't get fired on the trip.
Yeah.
Not once, Corey. It was kind of miraculous.
That's never happened.
I can't say that it hasn't, but it was refreshing. I have to say that much. Let's get into, like I said, one of my favorite days of the year. As somebody who was privileged to participate in college sports, I did not get the pleasure of a National Signing Day because they didn't do that at Division III. But I knew the moment when I got the invitation and decided to join a team, I know what that moment was like for me. And so to get to see these young men and women all over the country in all these different sports, see these years of hard work and talent and, everything they put into it, come to the fact that they, earned a college scholarship and get to make it official, I just think is just an amazing thing for young people. Tony, we got to do that with 5 guys.
Yep.
This morning. Kind of want to hear your overall thoughts on the class and what what they're bringing to the party.
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing, and I'll be repetitive probably, right? In this,
you never do that.
I know, right? You try to over communicate as a coach, so everybody knows where you're at. But just from a culture standpoint, the thing I'm most happy about is, yes, we got talented kids. If you look at some of the rankings and what these kids have done in their careers at the high school level, it's impressive, right? I mean, it's multiple time state champs and kids who have won national events, preseason nationals, lots of accolades there. But I think the most important thing for us is, yes, you got the talent, but you got kids who fit your culture and what you're really trying to build on. And I guess I've always said, as I get older, that ends up being a very important thing to team success. And that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to do things from team championships at Purdue. So that becomes huge for us. And I feel like we got kids who really fit our culture well. So yeah, they can wrestle and they can wrestle at a high level, and you'll see in depth what their accolades look like. You can read all about that, but man, they fit who we are and how we want to train and how we want to compete and kind of what our team is. So that's the thing that I'm most excited about, I guess.
Real quick, we'll just kind of touch through all 5 guys, get a little bit on them before we get a chance to talk to some of them. They're making time on their busy Wednesday as they sign to join the Always Aggressive podcast. So, let's start with the first guy that committed out of this group, Joey Blaze, Perrysburg, Ohio, projected middleweight. Kid's been committed to us for over a year now, and finally gets to put pen to paper and we get a chance to talk about him.
Yeah, I mean, guy who can wrestle from a lot of positions. I mean, his attacks have been picking up, like from his feet, but he's always been a guy who can scramble and score points and found ways to win tough matches, which is what we loved about him. Good competitor. So yeah, just, big win though, for people who you might want to go look him up, just won Super 32 and beat a world champion in freestyle, and a guy who had committed at Penn State here recently as well to do it. And then again, won in dramatic fashion in the finals there. So a guy who, again, his stock is really just on the rise. I think he's still got a ton of upside, and he's just going to get better and better. So really excited, for Joey.
Pretty cool about Joey, and the fact that, Stony Buell, our commit from last year, has been friends with Joey for a long time, turned us on to him. He is not, it's funny to look at the fact that Joey now is not the kid that committed to us a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah. He's twice the man he used to be too, in some respects.
You talk about the growth spurt that he went through, and the fact that, the things that we saw when we offered him and he committed to us have really come to fruition. Like you said, winning Super 32, beating the top 2 seeds in the tournament, winning a second Ohio State championship. In addition, like you said, the massive growth spurt that he's hit and jumped, a couple weight classes. When that happens for you as a coach, when you take a commit and then the kid turns into what you knew they could be, I guess that's got to be a pretty cool feeling.
No, it's awesome, right? And the only thing better is when you finally get your hands on them and start that journey together with them side by side. So it's been really fun to watch his continued growth and development. And the other things I'll point out, because he's been committed, as you said, for a long time. Love his family, great family. We've gotten to know them really well. So excited to have them join Purdue Wrestling also. And then that team that he's coming from, that Perrysburg team with Coach Burnett over there, I just think he's been around good people, and you can kind of see the growth and development, but whether it's from his family who are so supportive or even his coach there at Perrysburg and what that team has done. It's been fun.
We'll stay alphabetically here. We'll go to the next guy on the list, Greyson Clark, coming to us from Wisconsin. A lower weight guy, 33-41. Another great performance at Super 32. A guy that, we kind of were on early, then came off and got back on. Yeah. And really happy he's a Boilermaker.
Yeah, that's a guy, that we've been watching from afar for a while. And obviously, Coach Soufflon, being from Wisconsin, was in tune with that state and who the good kids were. So we've been watching him again for a long time. And honestly, the way things went, had a second chance, had a second bite at the apple with him when he kind of really decided to reopen again and look at what he wanted to do late in the signing process. So just really pumped that we got a good kid that we'd seen have national success for a long time. And again, we think he fits kind of the mold of who we are as a team and where we want to go. So, and then also out of another strong club, you look at Ashton Wrestling up there, it's another one of those guys. So, great opportunity to get our hands on a good kid from that club.
I did not realize, and I think he even surprised some of our staff. I didn't realize how tough he was on top and what he brings to the party from a mat wrestling perspective.
Yeah, right. That's going to serve him really well. It's already served him really well in high school. And if you again watch Super 32, where he was third, he turned a lot of really good kids and was really going after it on top, which we love. 4-point near fall and riding time here in college. I think it's going to serve him well. He's going to win a lot of matches through his top game.
I agree. Excited to get Greyson in here. Keep moving down the list. Indiana product, 2-time state champ, Ashton Jackson, coming to us from LaPorte High School and Elite Training Club.
Yeah. Really got a chance, not only just see more of them right at the state level, but here, in the last, several months, been down in the room, at RTC stuff, and had an opportunity to really watch what he's all about. And he's just a mat rat. He loves the sport. He's got a passion for it, and you need it at the next level because the grind is real, as we always say. So love to get our hands on a talented kid, clearly, with what he's done, having already got 2 state titles, but a kid who, again, I think really loves the sport, and his best days are ahead of him.
He, he's a lifetime 25, or at least that's what we project him as. these damn kids, they always grow when we least expect it. So that's, you know, I've always made that point about wrestling, how like, you know, guys can change positions in other sports. Like they get bigger, they can't wrestle 25 anymore.
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah, Ashton's a kid, you know, and these next three kids we're going to talk about, all from the state of Indiana, all well regarded, some national rankings, some national performances. I mean, it's as good a time as any to talk about keeping the best kids home.
Yeah. There's no doubt. I mean, you'd like to do that. That's not always possible. You know, I mean, tricky's just recruiting. It's timing involved in everything, weight class needs and that stuff. So yeah, when you can make it work, that's awesome. And we are able to do that with, you know, these three guys that we're talking about next, with, you know, Ashton being one of them.
And Ashton, you know, his familiarity with the guys on the team and having friends on the team like Ike Ruhlman, and, you know, being around those guys, being around RTCs, I know how pumped Ashton is to, you know, train with guys like Norris and Ramos and Macatangay and those little guys that, you know, really think he could elevate things to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Familiar name here next in the alphabetical order here. Delaney Ruhlman joins his older brother Tristan here in the Boilermaker family, coming from Bloomington South. And he's a guy that, you know, we've obviously known for a very long time, and we're excited to bring him aboard as family.
Yeah, you know, keeping it all in the family was nice to do that. Delaney, you know, just like his brother, right? You see the skills and the talent, and he's had some very good wins. But again, a kid who's going to work hard, and we think when you put him, you know, in a room where the partners are high level and he's coached hard every day, can really blossom and develop. So to get another kid like that who's going to again help the culture of the team, right? Keep building on that is a big deal for us.
Delaney's going to be an upper middleweight, probably somewhere between 65 and 84, unless he hits a huge growth spurt like his brother did. We'll see. You know, we keep getting back to that, unfortunately. But Delaney's a kid that is going to, you know, really give us some competitive depth and work hard on that in that range of upper guys where we need more depth and we need more bodies in those areas. But like you said, has a top 200 national ranking. Has some
very good wins, you know, in his career.
Yep, two-time state runner-up. I think Delaney's best days wrestling are ahead of him.
Oh yeah, by far. And you know what you're getting, right? Again, you know, Tristan's been here, you know, and another good family, right? So just looking forward to that journey. And I know Tristan was really pumped too when it got done. Tristan was really excited. So you like to see that, you know what I mean?
100%. Last but certainly not least, coming from DeMott, Indiana, and Kankakee Valley High School, Cole Solomey. He is another guy, like you said, these Indiana kids who can be in the room for the RTC and have, you know, they know our guys, they spend time around our guys. But really excited to pull a kid down, you know, both Ashton and Cole coming down from the region, an area that, you know, we would like to see more guys come from and join the program.
No doubt. And again, another kid who you think his upside and where he's going is just right in front of him. Had a big win over in Des Moines, Iowa at preseason nationals over some highly regarded kids, other kids who are going to be in D1 programs. So again, a guy who I see really starting to develop and come, and somebody that we got really comfortable with in terms of his work ethic and who he is as a competitor. I think are his best attributes, and it's going to serve him well.
Yeah, I knew that. It's good that you brought up the work ethic, because I know that was one of the things when we focused in on Cole and we knew we wanted to get him an invitation into the program. Those were some of the things I remember you talking about, and the fact that he works incredibly hard and he doesn't back down from anybody.
I love the edge to his wrestling too, because again, he's going to be in your face and he's going to wrestle hard, and he's got some good skill sets. But I just think the attributes for me that I love about him is his hard work and who he is as a competitor.
Cole is he's really centered in. He's building construction management. I think this is his intended major. He's really interested in that program. Talked to Parker Filius a ton about it. and wants to be a part of that. But yeah, we're excited that Cole chose to join the family and made the decision. He'll be in the 41 to 49 range, help that lower middleweight type area on the team and provide us with some good depth.
Yeah, great class. I'd say this too. We're probably not necessarily done yet. So keep the lookout. We're trying to, we're greedy. We're greedy here. So we've got a few more that we're trying to get. And I've actually got a guy that has committed to us that we can't talk about today for various NCAA rules that I think is going to be great for our team next year as well. So I'll just use that as a teaser so people know, hey, we're still trying to lock down for this class, another young man or two. And we actually know I've got a guy who's coming. Just can't talk about him right now.
Right.
That we feel good about.
Corey, what do you say we bring some of these young men on here and get to hear from them directly?
Yeah, that sounds good. Coach, we'll let you step away for a bit, and we'll talk to the newest Boilermakers here on the Always Aggressive podcast. All right, we start things off with Joey Blaze, the newest Boilermaker. Joey, congratulations. Big day. Had to feel good to sign that dotted line.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, for sure it did. It's been a long time, probably like a year now I've been committed, so it feels good to finally put it in paper.
Joey, 7 o'clock this morning, my phone starts buzzing. That was the earliest you could do it. And you literally wasted no time. I guess, kind of piggybacking off what Corey says, how did it feel to get on the dotted line? Like, we felt like it was official for a long time, right? Like, I mean,
for sure.
You've been around the guys, you've been over here on, I don't know how many, unofficials. You did your official last year. How ready are you to make Purdue home?
Oh, I'm really excited for it. Definitely. I'm ready. I'm ready to compete. You know how I am. I'm itching. I'm always ready to wrestle.
Absolutely. We talked a little bit this morning. We talked with Coach about how, when you committed, you were about half the size you are now. And in addition, you had one state title under your belt, you had a couple national placings, but, in the last year, you've blown up, capped off by your Super 32 win last month. I guess, how did it feel to have Purdue and Coach Ersland have that much faith in you that early? And then, how has it felt to be able to pay that back to Coach with everything, you've accomplished going forward?
It honestly means a lot. We did today at our school when we signed, our school did a thing. We talked, and to one of the local news reporters, I literally told him, I was like, Purdue had faith in me when I only had one state title under my belt. I didn't have all these credentials that I earned. And, I've just been putting it forward by being the best me every day. And I just got home from lifting. I just go lift, run. I just try to stay in the best shape, best wrestling shape. Because I want my goals are NCAA champion, all that. So I want to be ready when I'm there.
Well, from what I've seen, you're ready. and we're really excited to have you, man. What were some of the factors, how did you know that, because you made your decision quick and you have been completely resolute about it for a year, despite, I have to believe that, even though you were verbally committed, there were other, as you succeeded, more people kind of hey, are you sure? And you've been locked in from day one. What has it been about Purdue that's kept you so close to this?
Honestly, it's just the family aspect. I feel like a lot of coaches look at wrestlers as just another wrestler, but overall, the whole coaching staff and team, they just have been so loving. I talk to Shop and Soof and Coach Ers, everybody, weekly. You know what I mean? It's totally different than some of the other schools. I don't know how I felt, and I just really like the team. Stoney's my boy, so being able to talk to him and know what you guys are doing in the practice room and how everything goes is just awesome.
Going off of Stoney, obviously this, and he was the guy. Stoney called me up and he was like, "Hey man, you guys got to check out Joey Blaze. And I was like Joey Blaze, that's his real name? And he's
That's a great name.
Man, Joey Blaze. I was like, man, we got to recruit this kid on his name alone. How much has it meant to you to have, you know, a guy like Stoney, who you've been friends with a very long time, in your corner helping you through this process?
It's awesome because guys like him who really want your best interests, like have your best interests, they really give you the right type of advice. They don't hold back, you know what I mean? Like they tell you need to get better at this or you need to do this. And I just listen to them and listen to everybody that tries to help me, and it's just been working out lately.
Joe, you've been sort of all in from day one, to have it, you know, a reality. Just the realization that you grew up, you're an Ohio guy, you're going to be competing in the Big Ten for the next, you know, 5 years. What's that mean to you?
It means everything, because when I was little, my coach Scott Burnett, that was like his thing, was like the best guys are wrestling in the Big Ten. The best guys are placing at Big Tens, winning Big Tens, winning NCAA titles. And I feel like those are my goals as a person. I also looked up to Logan Stieber and stuff like that, like people like that when I was younger. So to wrestle in the Big Ten, try to emulate what he did, just at a different school.
I'm here for it. Let's go.
I'm here for it too. Joey, thank you so much, man. I'm so happy for you. Welcome to the family, and Boiler up, man.
Yep, for sure. Hammer down. Thank you, guys.
Joined now by Greyson Clark. Greyson, dreams coming true this morning when you filled out that DocuSign, as you put it. Just congratulations, and what was going through your mind when you signed on the dotted line?
It was
We lost him.
Yeah, I think he's got a really unstable connection.
It's looking like it.
He's dumped twice now.
You guys there?
Yeah, buddy. Can you hear us?
Yeah, the Wi-Fi went out here. I'm reconnecting to that right now.
Yep, you're good. There we go.
All right, that should be better now.
Oh yeah, no, you're much clearer all of a sudden.
Yep.
All right, perfect.
Okay, Corey, let's try this again.
All right, here we go. Joined now by Greyson Clark. Greyson, congratulations on big day, dreams coming true. What was going through your mind, you know, when you filled out that form this morning?
Yeah, you know, it was a good feeling. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of hours in the practice room doing the right things, and it's been a lot of hard work for me and my family and everyone around me. So it felt really good and makes me excited for the future.
Greyson, you had kind of a weird route to Purdue. You know, you were committed elsewhere, decided to reopen your search, and found your way to the Boilermakers. What was it? What was it about Purdue that drew you down here?
Yeah, when I was on my visit, you know, I was spending some time with the guys and around the coaches and a lot of the guys that are there. It was awesome. It felt like home right away. It didn't feel like a visit. It just felt like it was meant to be. And I walked away that weekend and I was like, that was a really, really good place. And I feel like it's the best place where I can achieve my goals. And yeah.
What is it like to know you've got another Wisconsin guy down here in Coach Soof, you know, going to cheer for the same teams and have that, you know, talk about bubblers and weird stuff like that?
Yeah, you know, it's awesome. It's makes it easier. It's something that I have someone similar to me, you know. He grew up 2 hours from here in Arrowhead, so it's nice. He knows kind of the Wisconsin feel, and it's nice to know I got a Wisconsin guy that I can relate to down there, and makes it easier to go down to college knowing that, you know, you got that similarity with someone there.
I'll tell you what, he's always excited to talk to AWA guys and guys that Max and Ben, you know, kick out. And so I knew he was pumped to get you on a visit, and he was even more pumped when you said yes.
Yeah. He's, you know, Ben and Max and even Coach Josh, they speak nothing but good about him, and they love him.
Who are some of the guys you're most excited to train with when you get down here?
Yeah, I'm excited to train with Ramos. He's really good. He's also, you got guys like Christian White down there that are really good. And I saw like Macatangay, he did really good at the Open, and it's a lot of those guys that you see that are at the lighter weights, which is where I'll be, that they're doing really well right now. And it's exciting to see that I'll hopefully take that same path, and get better and better.
That's always the plan, man. Corey?
Yeah, man. I've been asking all the guys. You grew up in Big Ten country. You know what this sport's all about in this area. Just to be able to compete at this level, what's that mean to you?
It means a lot. You watch the Big Ten Network growing up, and you're like, man, it would be awesome to really compete there. And even just to compete at a college level was always a goal of mine, But as I got older, I was like, maybe I can be in the Big Ten, and that's where it was awesome. It's awesome to be able to compete at a high level like that, and I'm excited. You see all these Penn States, Purdue, you got Ohio State, all these big colleges that are the best in the country, and you're going to be competing against them every night. So you got to be at the top of your game, and it's exciting.
Corey, did it make you feel really old when he just said grew up watching the Big Ten Network?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that wasn't a thing when we were kids, Greyson.
No.
So
Yeah,
I know that wasn't what you meant to do, but yeah, that was luckily we don't have Ersland on here because we love to tease him about being old.
yeah, for sure.
He's even older than us.
Had to get it in there.
Yeah, you'll cut that part out.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Well, Greyson, hey man, we appreciate you joining us. Congrats again. So pumped to have you on board. And we can't wait to get you down to West Lafayette.
For sure. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Enjoy that celebration tonight with your family and friends.
I will. Appreciate it.
Okay, we're joined now by Ashton Jackson. Ashton, congratulations. Big day. I got to think this is a bit of a dream come true for you.
Definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Ashton, couldn't be happier about you joining the family today. You were here a lot. You come down for some RTC workouts. You got some buddies on the team. When did you know?
It's kind of cliche, but I feel like I knew right away. After that first RTC practice, I loved how the workout was formatted. The guys on the team were amazing. They're all really welcoming. So it was just kind of a no-brainer. Everyone was super nice, and it just felt at home right away. So yeah, I went home that weekend, and I told my dad, I was like, yeah, I want to go there.
That's awesome, man. How much has it meant to you to have the pride, the pre-existing relationships on the team with, guys like Ike Ruhlman and some of the guys that he lives with? And how much did that help the process for you?
It made everything really easy. Just whenever I go down there for practices and to hang out with the team, it's a place to stay. Nothing's guaranteed yet, but we're in the process of I might be living with them next year, so that makes it really easy. So yeah, those guys are awesome. They're all, like you said earlier, they're all very welcoming. They're great teammates. They all push each other, so it's going to be a fun 5 years.
Who are you looking forward to training with the most when you get to campus?
Honestly, I'm going to have to give that one to Matt. We went live, and I got to his leg a couple times, but it's humbling. Not being able to close that gap right away. So it's gonna make me a lot better wrestler training with him, definitely.
Well, I know you're not alone in that sentiment. We got some reminders of that at Clarion this weekend where guys got in and they didn't know what hit them by the time they were on their backs.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. He's pretty good.
Corey, you got anything else for Ashton?
Yeah, man. Ashton, Coach was talking earlier about how big of a culture fit this entire class was. Just how important is that to you, to get a bunch of like-minded guys that you're going to be going through this journey with?
It means everything. That was also part of what made the decision pretty easy. I love being around goal-oriented, like-minded people who are all just striving to be champions, and that's that's what we're all aiming for. So if everyone's pushing each other and only try to do a higher standard, it's the wins are gonna pile up there. So it's gonna make the process a lot easier, and we'll all get better.
Love it. What's it mean to you to be competing in the Big Ten?
It means a lot. Ever since I was little, I was talking to my parents, and I was saying, I really want to be there one day, but yeah, I need to get better. I need to get better. I need to get better. And yeah, it means a lot to really to have the opportunity to compete at that level and to show everyone what I'm made of. And yeah, it's going to be fun. I've always wanted to compete at the pinnacle of the collegiate sport, and that's at Big Ten. So it doesn't get much better than that. So it means everything.
Ashton, congrats again. We
Thank you.
appreciate you joining us, and the next several months will fly by, and you'll be on campus before you know it.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks, man. Good luck this year.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, and we round things out today with Cole Solomey. Cole, congratulations. Big day. You got to be just thrilled with the way things worked out.
I am. Thank you very much. I'm more than excited for the following year coming up.
Cole, obviously Purdue is a place you were really familiar with. We've seen you down here for a number of RTCs. We've seen you at a number of competitions in the state, and you've seen us all around. When did you know that Purdue was the place, and what was the route you took to get here?
I've always kind of had my sights set on Purdue. Honestly, I was torn between IU and Purdue, and then I went and visited IU and unofficially, and then I started coming to you guys' RTCs, started getting to know the team, coaches. And then my visit especially, it just felt like home for me.
Coach talked about how, one of the best things about you committing to us and the reason, we offered you a scholarship and stuff, we're familiar with you. We had you in the room and we knew what you were about. Coach loves your work ethic, loves your attitude. Don't back down from anybody. I guess, what do you attribute that to? And what do you, how has that carried you?
Honestly, I had text back and forth with Shop about RTC dates and everything else. And that was honestly one of my main focuses. Obviously training off season all summer long with my other clubs and academies between Midwest RTC and Region Wrestling Academy. But the weekend RTCs, that was one of my main priorities all spring or all early fall and summer, was to make it to your guys' room. I just wanted to get myself out there, get my name out, show you guys what I had to offer. And I figured that was the least I could do.
Well, you did, and we're glad you did, buddy. Part of a nice solid Indiana class that we've been able to sign today, along with Ashton and Delaney Ruhlman, who is going to be unable to join us today. But what does it mean to you to be able to stay home, represent your state, and be at Purdue?
That was everything to me, honestly. I personally did not want to leave the state. Whether it being just, I've always kind of been a homebody personally. If it meant that I had to leave, and I probably would have made the sacrifice for it. But that was one of my main goals and objectives, was to not have to leave. I wanted to stay home, represent my state, which I feel like I've done well throughout my high school career. Past 2 national tournaments, wrestling really well, pulling off 2 big wins for myself that I've wrestled multiple times between IHPO and preseason nationals. I've wrestled all of them 3 times and finally won this year. But representing my state's always been huge to me.
Corey?
Yeah, Cole, Coach was also talking a lot about culture and, high character guys, how every one of you fit with what we're trying to do here off the mat, as well as, being great on it. What's it mean to you to be a part of the family and something that's really so special?
It's everything to me, and especially just coming down there like the teammates. I love them all. So, I mean, between the coaches in the room too, you got, I mean, like Vega, he brings a lot of excitement and character to the room. He's a great time to be around, especially keeps everybody laughing. I mean, he takes the edge off. I mean, along with Coach Soufflon and then Shop, like they're all really good time. I mean, I love all the coaches, especially Ersland. But like just Purdue in general, I had my sights on your guys' academic construction management program for a while now. And I was very, very excited to be able to pursue that.
Yeah, no, that was one of the things I thought was really cool is, you know, some kids come to college and they're not really sure, and other guys know what programs they want right away. And you definitely have your sights set in on that BCM program. How much did it help to have a guy like, you know, Parker Filius, an upperclassman who you could ask some questions to and has been around and that, you know, you've had a chance to roll with and stuff. What did it mean to have his counsel academically?
It helped tremendously, honestly. I mean, he was more than willing to answer any questions I had. I mean, he gave me my number first, like second time I met him, like first time I met him up at Region Wrestling Academy, he was coming back through with Vega and stopped in. I actually rolled with him. I wasn't too familiar with who he was personally. Then got to know him. Like off that, I mean, I rolled with him in Region or at the club over the summer. So, and then on my visit, he was huge help, answered all of our questions we had between me and both my parents. We had a lot of questions, honestly, and just kind of flooded him with questions. He answered everyone, honestly. He's helped tremendously.
That's great.
Or we got anything else for Cole?
No, man, let's let him go enjoy the day.
Cole, thanks again for joining us, man. We appreciate you. Congrats. Welcome to the family. And boiler up, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys' time.
Great to hear from those guys. Culture fit, like you said, Coach. And I love that you flat out said, you know, the further you get in your coaching career. See, I creatively said you're getting older, but I didn't say you're getting older. The further you get as a seasoned coach, the more important culture becomes. I love that evolution aspect of coaching, and you know, putting the attitude, the character, the quality person, human being aspect of it first and foremost.
Yeah, it's just something I've come to value a lot. And clearly, you know, it's an individual sport where you go out, compete by yourself, but who you're surrounded by becomes really important on that journey, right? Like you don't want to climb the mountain and get up there and it just, you didn't feel good about it, right? You didn't feel like you got everything out of it that you wanted. And I think a lot of that goes to who you're surrounded by, who your teammates are, who your coaches are. And so I've really come to kind of value that. And I think that's a thing, you know, it's a real thing on that journey. So we look for it and try to find guys who not only have the individual talent, which is significant at the Big Ten level, but value what a team experience is.
Appreciate those guys for being able to take time out of the day. And I know some of them couldn't, and we will definitely get them on at a later time as their schedule allows. Coach, wanted to talk about, I mean, obviously we love these guys. You know, we invited them to come here and be a part of this team. We made the offer, they accepted. You know, these are, I think I've always compared when you talk about high school coaching versus college coaching, like high school, you get the guys that are in your district. Like that's just the way it is, right? Yep. With college coaching, like every person who's here, you invited to be a part of the team. You get to go choose your own guys to a certain degree. So obviously we love them. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the national perception of these five and kind of where we're at as far as possibly class rankings and national regard. The two guys that are the highest ranked of the group, Joey Blaze has jumped as high as 17th in the country in some of the national recruiting rankings. Greyson Clark up at 33. Both Delaney, Ruhlman, and Ashton Jackson got top 200 mentions. Puts us in some rarefied air as far as the group goes. One of 9 schools in the country to have 2 guys ranked in the top 35, and one of about 16 schools to have 4 guys in the top 200. obviously, you know, that Corey, what's the saying? Liars figure and figures lie. Is that something like that?
Something like that.
But at the same time, Coach, when other people see the talent that you see and regard it they regard it well, what does that say to you as a coach?
Yeah. So it's interesting because you're always taught to, hey, with our guys, don't worry about the number in front of a guy's name. And that's true. You cannot worry about that as a competitor. And so I think we got 5 guys that don't care and will wrestle hard against everybody. But when you talk about promoting your class, it does show they've done some really good work. And to get those kind of numbers, it's not just been local, it's been national. These guys are invested in competing nationally, not even just within their own state. So yeah, there's some validation and some support where you feel like, yeah, we've seen a lot of these guys and we know who they are and what they're capable of. So that's how you use it. You know, it's not the end all be all. Ultimately it's people's opinions, but again, it shows, hey, good kids. And when you read their credentials, you'll know why they have, that recognition as far as national rankings and why the class is going to be where it's at.
Yeah. These guys that do these national rankings, Willie Saylor at Matt Scouts and our friends at Flow Wrestling, and they put a lot of time and energy and effort into, identifying these kids, figuring out, going through the results, so on and so forth. So, hats off to them for the work that they put into creating these lists. I think as I've gone through some of the rankings and I've gone through some of the who got who and who's committed to who and signing with who, I have us pegged. I would say, Corey, what did we say before the show? Comfortably, I feel comfortable saying this is a top 20 national class.
Yep.
And I think it's got merits to be top 15, maybe even top 10.
Yeah.
There you go. That's your job is to look at the numbers and then promote it. I mean, that's you guys and William, who we had on the podcast, right, from Sports Info Communications. So I'll trust you guys to do your job and promote the heck out of this class, and me and the assistants will just figure out how to get them where they need to be.
It'll be interesting to see where it lies, but Corey, from a perspective of somebody who you're a fan, you chew on these kind of numbers, not just for wrestling, but other sports and these recruiting rankings. What does getting those kind of classes do for a program?
Well, I think, it just, obviously you need to get the student athletes on campus, and they need to perform like everyone expects them to. They need to continue to develop. But if you're talking about a couple guys in the top 35, you're already starting out ahead of, a whole bunch of people behind them. Now, that's not to say they can't be passed by people behind them. We've seen that before with maybe some guys that have not as high ranks as they deserve, but they outperform their recruiting ranking. We've seen guys, come in top of the world and don't live up to it for whatever reason. You see it every year. But just the fact that when you're talking about, these 4-star, 5-star, I know wrestling doesn't do stars necessarily, but when you're talking about 4 or 5-star type guys, they're starting from you would think, generally speaking, from a different place. So the ceiling's higher, hopefully the floor is higher. And when you get that kind of attention, you string 2 or 3 of those together, you string 2 or 3 classes like that together, it really makes people sit up and take notice. Oh, they're doing something over here. They're getting this, they're continuing to get quality guys. They're recruiting at a higher level. And you hope that it translates to the mat, obviously. One thing I hate about the sport of wrestling is it takes too long to translate to the mat. I know we're seeing a trend of true freshmen competing, but historically it's a redshirt sport. So you get guys who come in highly touted. Talk about Dustin Norris. He was a well thought of recruit. I haven't seen him wrestle yet.
Yeah,
he's a sophomore.
That'll change Sunday, buddy.
You're right,
change
exactly. I can't wait to see him wrestle Sunday, but it takes too long. We want that instant payoff. That's what we've become as a society. So it really pays off. The patience of the sport and drives people like me nuts. But when you can get people to pay attention and then maybe open up a few doors, hey, Purdue's doing something. Maybe I'll look at that too. I just think the benefits can pay off. You stack wins, right? And as you do, you just elevate the program. I think that's a great momentum behind what you guys are doing right now.
And Tony, I mean, I don't know if you have these numbers offhand, and so I'm sorry for putting you on the spot. I'm not sorry. That's not true. How many kids do you figure wrestle nationally at the high school level? Do you have a guesstimate number from your work with
that's a great question.
the Coaches Association?
No, I don't have an exact number. I mean, it's, is it 500,000? What's and you mean at all levels, right? Are you talking about, because I would have even less in terms of participation if you had just asked high school, it was high school to junior high to the little kids in the club wrestling, right? I mean, 500,000. I don't know. I need Mike Moyer here.
We'll call Mike
to help us out. Throw me a lifeline.
We'll call my Can we phone a friend?
Let me phone in. Yeah, that'd be great.
Is that possible? I bring it up only because when you talk about, Corey brought up the rarefied air, you talk about these kids that are being regarded in the top 20, in the top 30, in the top 40. When you quantify how many kids are participating in the sport and that they're being regarded at that level, I think it really says something.
Well, for sure. I mean, and just think about whatever that number is. Like I said, is it 500,000? Is it 375,000? Whatever. You're getting down to 14 programs when I'm talking about the Big Ten, and that roster size. So you went from hundreds of thousands of kids down to, what is it? 300, 400, 500, whatever that number is. It's just, it shrinks and is condensed immensely. And so what it takes to wrestle at that level is significant in terms of that jump and dedication and stuff. So yeah, it says a lot for those young men who can compete at that level.
I can talk about the future Boilers all day, but let's talk about the current Boilers and home opener this weekend, Sunday at noon. Holloway Gymnasium. We host the Rider Bronx for our first duel of 2022-23.
Yep. No, looking forward to being home the next 2 weeks, right before we have Thanksgiving off and then head to Vegas for Cliff Keen. So yeah, excited to start off a home stand, first home duel again for a lot of these young guys that Corey's never seen and he wants to watch. So that'll be a fun day. Really looking forward to watching these young men start their home careers.
A home and home that we've done here with Coach Hangy and his group out at Rider. We went out to their place last year to start the season, getting the back end visit from them. What do you anticipate seeing from the Bronx?
Well, I mean, Coach Hangy's been around a long time, so I think you'll see a prepared team, obviously out of Jersey. So there's a lot of that. They got a good recruiting base out there as well. So I think you're going to see a bunch of good matches. That's what I would expect, is that we're going to have a bunch of good matches in the gym on that day.
We haven't seen probables from them yet. However, they do have a few ranked guys in the lineup. Richie Kohler down at 133 is a national qualifier who's done some things for them. Quinn Kinner started his career at Ohio State, transferred to Rider. We wrestled him in the duel last year at 141. I believe he'll be up at 149 this year. Yep. And then the last guy I'd mentioned would be 197 pounds, Ethan Laird, redshirted last year, competed at heavyweight in some open tournaments and whatnot, but is going back down to 197, which I think is where he's competed most of his career and had a large amount of success.
Yeah, like I said, there's going to be some good kids and some good matches in there, and so we'll have to be ready. And our guys are. I mean, they've been training hard, and that was reflected in when we talked about the results at Clarion. So I'm confident that we're ready to meet the challenge. But just know, hey, it's going to be some good kids in front of you, and we're going to have to go out and execute kind of our game plan. Always talk about effort and execution. It's going to take both of those to get it done. So that's what we're focusing on right now this week.
Corey, I think we covered everything.
Yeah, just one last note. Kinner and Laird both won championships at the Princeton Open last week and opened
There you
their
go.
season. That's where they were at. So yeah, it should be good matches. Can't wait to see it noon on Big Ten Plus. If you can't make it to Holloway Gym, you should make it to Holloway Gym. There are there's nothing quite like the in-person environment. As hard as we work to make the stream good, come in person if you can. All right. The Boilermakers against Ryder at noon on Sunday. Guys, that was a full show.
Yes, it was.
That was a full show. Let's wrap it here and we'll do it again next week. What do you say?